everybody? My name is Aaron Brown, and I'm from Richmond City, Virginia, and I'm from the south side of Richmond City, Virginia, San Susie to be exact. So if we're talking about rapping, right, like, because I also produce, right? So if we're talking about rapping, it kind of started as poetry. I've been rapping technically as long as I can remember. Like, I remember being like a super little kid and being like my great grandma's like retirement home and like rapping for her. She thought it was cute, you know. So she egged me on, and like I've always just kind of did that, right? Like rhymed words and like put ideas together like through words. You know what I'm saying? My first like real written piece is like poetry, and it was a piece I did for my cousin's funeral. I think I was like 7, 8. It was called "A Good Die Young." And then like from a production standpoint, like musically, I started producing in like 2011. I wanted to like start conveying through more, and like the words weren't enough. Like I needed to be able to like curate the entire experience. So I started producing, and that's one of those things where like some of my homies would tell you like it's a love and hate thing, because I'm just naturally good at production. Like since I started, I've been pretty good at that, and maybe better than rapping. Maybe, I don't know. That's arguable. You know, I like to make my most embarrassing things my like most blatant things. So like most of my creative processes kind of start with me in fetal position. Usually I'm like, damn, I feel guilty for not doing anything right now. I feel super guilty for watching Netflix. I should be working. I should be doing something. And then I'm like, but nah, I'm kind of sad, or like whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna do it. And so I usually, you know, boot up the computer. I start in Fruity Loops. I produce. I find, you know, samples or make some sounds that like really like feel, you know, how I feel. It's the best way to put it. And then like from there, you know, I add my drums, percussion, bass, whatever. I recently had a bass guitar, I love. And then usually like throughout that process as I'm building it out, I'm kind of like writing words and ideas in my head. If I'm lucky and I'm really feeling it, but it usually happens when I'm depressed, I have the whole song done by the time I produce it, and I can just record it straight. But 9 times out of 10, you know what I'm saying, it's like I'm still like, I get it done and I get it in the Pro Tools, and then I kind of fill it out. Sometimes I top line and put words in. Sometimes I write it straight. Sometimes I freestyle it. It just depends. And then I mix it, which is, you know, less than fun, but I'm getting better. And yeah, that's it. Performing live is the truest energy exchange I have ever personally experienced. Right? It's the idea of me like feeling a certain way and like having the freedom to be vulnerable and improvise that however it may come out, but at the same time people receiving it and like it resonating with them and them giving that energy back, you know, like that. It's like, I don't know, it's more than just attention. It's more than being an attention whore. Like it is a full exchange, right? Like when I get off the stage, I expect to be just as exhausted as you are. And like 9 times out of 10 when I do a show, it is that way. It's like, you know, it's an experience. And so I dig it. Like, I dig it. It just kind of transcends the normal chit chat and like bullshit trivial stuff we, you know, use and call communication every day. Like, it's beautiful as a creative because it's like, usually I have the space to go back, right? I can go back. I can change something. But like it being there, like you have to put it there and there's nothing, like it's there. And like, you have to learn to like love yourself on a whole nother level at that very moment in time. My first instrument was the trombone, right? I played trombone in middle school, which was super dope. I wanted to play drums, but there was like too many people trying to play drums at that point in time, so the teacher was like, we need somebody to go to trombone, and I was just like, alright, I'll try it. So I ended up playing trombone. From there, I went completely digital, right? So I like picked up a MIDI controller and like started tapping out, you know, all my stuff. And I picked up a keyboard and started playing out all my stuff. Recently though, you know, since the last shows have picked up and I finally like this mystical band formed around me, you know, I can't even take responsibility for it. The band is literally called Aaron and the Gods. Amazing musicians like came around me and like I got to experience music on like a different level. I picked up a bass guitar. My lovely woman Rupert found it for me. It's great. I've been messing around with that and just kind of getting more into like live instrumentation and just being able to jam with a band has like changed so much. like my understanding of music and my understanding of like, you know, it's not about just timing and like it's not just about compression and EQ. Like it's so much more than that. It's like the whole idea of like relying on people and relying on like understanding that like you yourself is an instrument, right? And like you only can produce so many sounds. And like maybe I am a trombone, right? But then like maybe Rupert's a guitar and maybe Cass is like a, you know, electric and like so forth, you know what I'm saying? And so like just realizing that everybody's an instrument and being able to like work around with those sounds has been super dope and has like definitely come back to my production standpoint and like getting more, you know, in tune with all different styles of music and instruments that make it. Alright, big thank you to all my supporters and everybody who's already checked out the album. Thank you to everyone that's jamming it. If you don't know, we just dropped some merch for it. You can get that at SaveMeI'mDrowning.com. It's simple, right? This whole thing is Save Me I'm Drowning. SaveMeI'mDrowning.com. There's merch, the album's there, and really you should already know that. But if you didn't, now you do.